Okay, welcome to episode 55 of Random Thoughts.
Which will be our second official podcast. Maybe not by when this is actually live, but hopefully by early next week. It's the 6th of April 2017 today, if you're watching this retrospectively. But yeah, welcome to Random Thoughts, episode 55.
Yeah. Funny thing, we've got the podcast thing happening and you've got it all set up. I've never felt more like we're a grown-up business than with a podcast. We've done a lot of fairly grown-up things out there.
Yeah, trained some professional teams and lots of athletes. And
we've got a pretty good gym set up. But yeah, it's like we've made it.
Fancy microphones.
It's all about the microphones, isn't it?
Yeah. All right.
And an intro.
Yeah, we've got an intro now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's get stuck in. So last week we got one of our athletes got a program from her academy that she's a part of, and it had everything but the kitchen sink in it. So
much.
It was just everything an athlete could ever do that would improve all the things all at once.
Yeah, and it's a common phenomenon where you will see the coaches. I think the underpinning thought is athletes won't do everything you set them, so you should over-program, and then maybe they do half of what you set.
Yeah, when it comes to sort of like more elite level academies or things like TAC Cup and like that sort of level where you don't have complete access to the athlete every week or multiple times a week.
You might have 40 athletes, you're not going to see them very often at all.
Or you have them for a month in October and then you're not going to see them again until February.
Yeah.
You want to make sure they do something, so you give them everything.
Yeah. And I disagree with that strategy. I don't think it...
over-programming idea, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good. I think what you end up with is athletes that are overwhelmed by the over-programming.
Which we've seen with everyone we've had in the last 6 months, Yep.
100% of the time. And then they end up going, too hard basket. And they do either nothing or
they just kick the footy.
or very little. I think you've got to make your targets achievable. It's got to be realistic so that they look at it and go, okay, is it simple enough I can understand it and follow the dots? We'll talk about that more later. But B, is it can I actually do that, or is it an outlandishly high amount of volume? I just won't try and do it.
Yeah, and because that also allows you then to set the target at 100%. This is the program, do it all. Whereas as opposed to here's the program, see what you can get done. Because then there's a grey area of what is.
I'm not sure they're saying I think they're saying do it all, but I think it's unspoken that it's a really high amount. Yeah. And I think it applies in life. Like I think if you set someone this enormous amount of stuff to do, that they're probably not going to do it. Like bite-sized chunks. Give people enough that they can commit to it and do it.
Do one, get really good at it, finish that thing, and move on to the next thing. Ticking things off the list, as opposed to having 100 balls in the air trying to juggle them all, and then dropping, you end up dropping none of them, whereas you could juggle 3 quite nicely, as opposed to trying to juggle 6.
Yeah. So I don't think that's a full Random Thoughts. I think we should talk about complexity as well, because that's actually a really simple concept that just gets missed.
Yeah, and so I think when we talk about actual specifics of those programs, I think as far as your weekly schedule depends on your sport, depends on your level of athlete, but a couple of hard running sessions, a couple of cross training sessions, and a couple of basic strength workouts. And you don't need a fartlek this day and then an interval that day and then the fartlek that changes. And the one that we saw this week was it had agility in it, but each agility session was completely different to the one before. So there was no actual ability to have a learning effect.
So stop. So we've started a second topic within the same. So the first topic is the over programming. I reckon the best approach if you've got a large cohort of athletes and you want them to do a body of work is program what you want. And look at a week and go, that seems like an achievable, realistic thing. Let's do that. But the second component is that feeding into that is that deep urge to be able to say, I gave them all the things.
Yeah.
We covered everything. And I think
at these tables.
Yeah, and to have justified your existence by putting incredible complexity in, which makes the coach feel very secure in their job because look at all the work I've put in. Look at
this booklet I've made.
But I don't think the point of the booklet is to make the athlete better. And if the athlete doesn't get better because there's so much complexity in there, you've undermined the whole point of it. And you may as well have just done nothing. With the
majority of athletes, you'll achieve the same result.
And I think, that idea of, we've got to have 16 different types of workouts. Like, no, actually, you need to do strength work, pretty heavy work.
Running work.
Yeah, and some of the running work needs to be at a high intensity and with intervals. Some of it probably a little bit lower. Some of it's a little more technical in terms of speed work. It's not 18 different permutations.
And not this agility drill and then this iteration of that agility drill and then you do a 5 meter effort and then you do this. It's like, Kiss, keep it simple, stupid.
Because we looked at this program, and I'm 17 years into the industry, worked at a pretty high level. I serve on Deacon's advisory board to the sports science school. Like, if anyone should be across it, I should be able to read it and go, cool, yeah, I know what this is. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, I need time to unpack this.
Yeah.
And the athlete's just like, shit, no idea.
Freaked out.
Yeah. So in terms of, we don't do a lot, and it's easy for us to say this from our perspective because we don't do a lot of that academy stuff, and it is its own unique challenge.
We sort of had our first dipped our toes in it this summer when we did our off-season program. When a lot of athletes, it wasn't so much an academy, but when our athletes were away, most of them were away for 2, 3, 4 weeks over summer, and we did our holiday programming, and so that was kind of our first taste of it. And our goal was, let's just, all right, our athletes are away, they're going to come back and they're going to come into tournaments or straight into a high intensity pre-season with a team that's just going to either fitness test them day one or have 5 games at a tournament day one. Yep. How can we just minimize the risk of having a big spike with that? And so we had Game Fit, which was our way of getting sort of adductor groin load with a bit of agility and chop
anaerobic.
And really anaerobic. And then we had repeat sprints. And then little basic home workouts, and that was kind of it.
And the reality is that the athletes probably did only 90% of what we set them. But had we set them double that amount, they would have done the net amount of work done less.
Would have actually gone the other way. So if we set this much, we got that much. So if we had set that much, it actually would have gone down.
Yeah.
As a result. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has to be a realistic request. And the athletes got really good results. Like it was awesome. I think it was our lowest rate of
stress-based injuries.
Of stress and tendon-based injuries that we've ever had because they had a good body of work under their belts. The other thing is, in terms of the complexity, where people go really deep down the rabbit hole is with the strength programs, and they have. It's like you can't spread yourself thin and have them rent 26 exercises.
Renting versus buying, good concept.
Yeah. It's something that I'm always hammering on to our coaches, and even when I'm explaining to parents and to the athletes. I'd rather a kid own 3 movements than rent 6. Like, just learn how to hinge properly, how to pull properly, and how to squat. Don't
move your scaps, do a squat, do a hinge, and own that for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
and then let's build on that.
And that's not to say that's how we program it. Like in here, we teach them a lot more than that, more rapidly. But what I still care most about is owning it. Like, I want them to own how to address the bar. And I think too often, so many of these programs, they're renting stuff to the kids rather than getting them to own it.
And which is particularly dangerous when they're not supervised every single session. So it becomes even worse when you've got an academy where it's like, here, we'll teach this stuff for a month. We'll cover all these 30 exercises or a bunch of stuff. And then you go away and all of a sudden the athlete, they miss a couple of sessions. So there's now a 10-day learning gap. And then they're going, now what was the hang, snatch, power clean to push press thing?
And I see that so much with our college prep programs. We have athletes that are preparing to go to the States, and their college prep is full on for that. There'll be so many different things, and it's always changing. And it's that
each phase has a completely new set of exercises.
And I think it is still, whether they admit it or not, I think that's a hangover from bodybuilding, shock the muscles.
Deep down in the subconscious somewhere, it's definitely coming back from that. It's
shock the muscles, And I was talking to one of our kids. It was say he brought up shock the muscles. One of the borderlies. and they just it's a hilarious idea. You can't shock the muscle,
the muscle responds to the time, the volume, and the load.
Not with surprise.
Oh, a front squat, not a back squat. Ah, you got me. And because the other thing that creates is unpredictable soreness levels. Every time you go from a 4-week block of back squatting and chin up to a barbell row and a front squat, you're all of a sudden introducing a slightly different stimulus, and that's going to change your DOMS levels in certain muscle groups, and therefore it's going to affect your power and your consistency.
And you want some variation. You do want there is a craving for variety that you need to satisfy a little bit.
And we did that episode. We've done an episode on that before.
Yeah, but you don't want it to be at the expense of safety.
Yeah, or sporting performance.
Yeah, it's got to still be something you can get your teeth into. So yeah, I think the other thing I would say to a young S&C coach who's out programming, and there's a lot of guys out there trying to cut their teeth, and often the first projects they get will be teams and academy situations.
Cat cup or
is program less variety, and just get you guys amazing at single digit. Like you've got 10 things,
single digit characteristics,
single digits.
Yeah, that's the golden rule. The rule of less than 10.
Yeah.
And it's especially important. This isn't to undermine the importance of having it when you've got them in the gym, but when you don't have access to them every week, that becomes probably the rule of 5.
Yeah,
it becomes even less things. Just be good at these 3 or 4 things for me, and come back and have mastered them and have built on them.
And as with everything, put yourself in the shoes of the athlete, and that will require you to, if you're dealing with young athletes, no offense, young athletes, but sort of not dumb yourself down, but make yourself a little more impulsive and a little less excited by detail.
And a little less forward thinking as well, a little less future oriented.
Tend to live in the moment, as we did.
That's what you do. It's why it's awesome. Yeah.
I think that's good.
We'll leave it there.
Should we make a quick summary?
Yep.
Okay. So number 1, program for what you want. Don't do the double. So that's called an ambit claim. It's got a name. So if you're going into a negotiation with someone, you're selling something and you want to sell it for $50, you say, I'll sell it to you for $100. And that's the first claim you launch in the negotiation is the ambit claim. Yeah, so it's ambit claim programming. Good. So don't do that. Just ask for what you want.
Yep.
And then make sure that what you want is realistic and simple enough that the person on the other end of the equation actually does it, and then you get a great result.
Because remember, you're probably mostly going to be a junior athlete, and there's probably going to be 3 weeks between when you give them the thing and then when they read the thing.
Yeah.
So you've got to remember that time's like, hey, do this, this, and this. Yep, gotcha. Holidays comes around, Christmas, January. Better look at that. Now, what did he say about this? Yeah. What did they say about this?
Yeah. So make it simple.
And then with your variety, just sneak it in. Don't slam it in. There is no shocking the muscles. There is only gradual progression over time.